school today, and it's -9.
That green
All
chili
those
is
kids
still,
in Canada
is sure
playing
good.
outside.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's just, they're used to it.
Okay, we're live.
Is that where he lives? Washington?
Line-
Oh, Jimmy Greaves, man, I remember.
Tracy wasn't
him.
gonna need a dog to carry
His mom's
everything.
place, Watching
Sorry.
him.
Tracy's not?
Kids?
She wasn't feeling well. And Ron had an
They've been-
appointment, so.
Playpen, yeah, did you go to it too? Yeah.
Well, should we go ahead and call the meeting to order? I'd like to welcome everybody today. Looks like everybody survived the holidays. Do we have any citizen participation at this time? Betty? Nope.
Glad you're back, Betty, and walking better.
She's not listening.
No. John, if you don't mind, we've had a request to introduce ourselves since we don't have like the name plates and stuff for the people on Facebook Live, so
Okay.
we can do that before each meeting. That would
Sure,
be
I
helpful.
can do that. I'll start off. John Yeager, Chairman.
Colleen Oquist,
Joe Ayala.
Rick Klein.
Rick Wallner.
Pam Dennehy. Okay.
Watch what button you hit, John.
Yeah, that one that
that
says.
was Ron.
Yeah.
We'll be feeding the police lunch today.
Yeah. Okay, Tracy's not here and Ron's not here.
Correct.
So, has everybody had a chance to look over the minutes as presented?
I'll make the motion to accept.
Second.
Any questions as far as the minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? What about financials?
So we have two sets of financials because of the way that our December meeting fell, because the November financials went out. So we have the November packet and we have the December packet that were emailed out separately, but I've included them both in your packet.
So I take it on the actual sales of November, the reason the difference, we had some late ones come in?
Yep.
You know, really, you look at the totals and
Doing good. Doing good.
you look at,
And if you look at the actual sales, our numbers are really up too with the July, August, September, and $24,000 to $23,000. So I think what I might start doing again, if you guys are okay with it, before we were just depending on this. I had a spreadsheet that I was kind of doing that also took into account, and what I can do now, since we know we're really focusing on the actual sales instead of the top sales, is I could put those back in the spreadsheet so we can see. I feel like this is a little hard now to look and see what the averages are because these aren't actual numbers.
Since you got full years, flip it back up.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that way we can look and we can see, and then it's just really helpful to look from year to year to see how our months have grown. So I will look to do that for the next meeting as well.
I agree.
do I have any discussion or questions as far as the financials are concerned? If not, do I have a motion to accept the financials as presented?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Multi-module.
Multimodal update.
Modal.
Yeah, CDOT has, they said that they'll have a contract for the design of the multimodal to us within the next week or so.
So CDOT does that?
Yes, well, that's who's supplying the money. And what'll happen then is, once we get our notice to proceed, we'll get a consultant in to do the design. It was $525,000 that we received for the design, and that was 100% grant.
So Rick, would you mind just kind of backing up and giving
Okay.
us a little
So,
history of where, kind of where we
multimodal.
are and what,
Yeah.
like all of the steps, so we can have that documented?
So years ago, when the city council asked to save the Southwest Chief and strengthen the BNSF, because like right now, we got more railroad workers and they can't get a day off, and that's because we stepped up to the plate and rebuilt that line, and now we're the disaster resilient line for Burlington Northern, which is a great thing. Well, part of the deal was that they wanted to combine the buses with the trains, and that was a precursor before Mustang came in. But then Mustang wants to come into that, and we could get some tourism type exhibits in there and get some better exposure for the community. So because you have so many travelers coming through. We did do one design probably about 5-6 years ago, 7 years ago, and we had CU architect students do it. And but it was just concepts. Well, now we have the funds for the full design of a multimodal. So now it's time to start seeing what we want.
So this grant is for $525,000
Yes, ma'am.
through CDOT for the
Yes.
design.
Of a multimodal station, 100% grant.
Okay.
So Rick, who's all gonna be involved in reviewing that design?
Well, tourism will be involved with it. But we'll have some public hearings and stuff, make sure that the community gets involved.
I have to
because,
say I
that's
wasn't
gonna
a-
be an icon in the community.
I wasn't a huge fan of first mock-ups. I know they were very modern, I thought, for a town.
Right.
I mean, it's fine if you like modern, but I think with the history we have in our area, it would be nice to have something look a little more historical. That's just my opinion.
Sure.
So-
I know back then and stuff, most of them were wanting like a brick building and stuff. I mean, do a shade study because of what was happening with the judicial building up in Pueblo, that atrium. You just gotta, with the hot sun, you gotta watch out on those type of activities. But if I had my choice, it would look like a mini Harvey House
Mhm. Or a
Yeah,
depot or
I
something.
or something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, but that's not my choice. It's
How-
all of ours.
As far as when it comes to building, how is that funded? Is that through grants too?
That's gonna be
Rick?
through grants, yes, sir. CDOT has $4 million set back for the construction.
You have a match in that?
So, and has it been
Unless it
determined
comes
as
up
far
more.
as who's running it then?
That's
'Cause I
what's
know
gonna
there
have
was
to be
some-
decided.
It already has been decided?
No, it has not. I know that we've been talking with the chamber and stuff about relocating and stuff, so,
I
there's some
didn't know that the
conversations
state
that have to happen.
funding it if it had to be.
Would Amtrak be in there as well?
Yes. Amtrak, Mustang, and BNSF would stay in their current station. They need the whole station
So
because they won't put on more employees.
if the state builds it then as far as utilities, I understand the manning's different people from bus, chamber, what?
Yes,
about
well, the maintenance and utilities would have to be shared by all
all
users.
I hadn't heard how that was how it transpired since.
We run our buses through there if we need to?
Yes. Oh, have to.
But then could
That's
you
your connection
Who
from
runs our
Mustang
buses?
to come up.
that would be able to sit in that building?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your question,
Yeah, that
John.
was-
What was the
yeah.
question?
So I'm asking about the city buses. Do the city buses run through that multimodal? And if they do we have someone that can sit, if that's their job is to run buses? Worst case scenario.
They can dispatch right out of the senior center still, but that'll be the hub. And those are decisions we've got to make on now. How we want to if we wanna separate senior center from, transit, but I don't think we should. But we need to talk.
So from a timeline, excuse me, from a timeline perspective, the contract is being signed, then what does it look like from here?
I should have had this contract a year ago.
Yeah.
You know, I know that they've been playing hell on employees and stuff, but my anticipation is 3 months to get that paperwork back. I'm hedging my bet just because of what I've been seeing.
So then, who is leading this?
Right now, me and Martin.
Okay,
So then Martin would be my contact.
Hmm?
So then Martin would be the
Yeah.
contact.
okay.
Excuse me.
And will tourism look like a partner, or?
Yes.
Where do we?
Has to be a
Okay,
partner.
so when all of this starts, do you think he'll be able to come to the meetings and give us updates, or what is
Guaranteed.
that gonna look like?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Are you on as city manager or just?
Yeah, city manager.
Okay,
Who is Martin?
Martin Montoya, city engineer.
city engineer, yeah. And then you say, I'm just trying to document all this, I think it's good for us to have.
Right.
You said that CDOT has $4 million for construction.
Yes,
Is that a grant that we then need to also
that'll
apply
be,
for?
yes,
Or-
that'll be a
okay.
grant.
So not necessarily
That we have to apply for?
guaranteed.
Right, no, you still gotta apply, you know, they just set back the money, you know, cause they know what projects are coming.
Okay,
Right. And that was all just, from, the Amtrak deal
okay.
that we did.
And then, so that'll be the next step after the design phase?
Yeah.
Okay,
Right, because, you know, we don't know, what the design is, so we don't know, is it 3 million, 4 million, 5 million?
That's
I
what I was
mean,
gonna ask.
we gotta,
Are they
you know.
giving whoever's doing the architecture, are they giving them a $4 million budget, or how?
Well, now, see, that's the thing, you know, when we go through the process on the design, you make sure that you don't over-design and overspend that money.
Okay.
So,
I didn't
you
know
know,
if that
there's
was
your,
all said.
that's your limitation to me.
okay.
Is there any year attached to that
Excuse
money?
No, when, they didn't give me the contract within a year, I made sure that, they'd kick that back to, 2026, you know, as far as an end date. Because, man, I'll tell you what, I thought we'd been just about done with the design by now. It's been so long, the consultant
That's only a
companies
couple
ain't
years
right.
away though.
Yeah.
That's
2024.
up. 2 years, you really
Right.
figure.
Yeah.
Okay. So then I guess the next steps will be once the contract is procured and signed and everything.
And we form a committee to get a consultant on, and then once consultant is, we start holding public meetings. We could have them come in to tourism to make sure we got that component down. We bring in the chamber to talk about, you know, what is their role in it and stuff.
Okay.
Because I know they're changing presidents, you know,
Okay.
and a lot of my conversations was with Greg.
Okay. Any other questions, thoughts, concerns? I took notes, Rick, I might send this to you before I include it in the minutes to make sure that I've gotten everything, and I know that an actual timeline attached to it'll be hard, but just the
Right.
process of the steps I think will be helpful for us to have to anticipate.
Yeah, it does. Man,
so-
I tell you what, anymore, it's hard for me to put a timeline to
Sure.
anything with the way that these contracts are coming out.
Yeah. Okay. Like I said, I just thought it would be helpful because I know there's a lot of questions that we have, and I'll have a conversation with Martin about starting this as soon as that contract is signed, so we're moving forward with it and we're on the front end of all of it, and go from there.
Do you wanna go over the updates as far as the,
Sure. So yeah, just wanted to give a few updates. I did send out that video. I don't know if you all had a chance to look at it. It's a draft. It's a first draft, so I didn't want to show it in a public setting because it's not ready to release. So we can do one of two things. Do you guys have any feedback for me to provide to VistaWorks on what? Just to give you a little bit of background again. I know Rick talking about contracts and procurement. It took almost 3-4 months for us to just get through that phase since this is a federal grant. So reminder, we received a grant for $75,000 from the Colorado Tourism Office for, but this money is a little different because it's through a federal grant, so that the way it's going is a little bit different. A lot more boxes to check. Nonetheless, we got $75,000 from the Colorado Tourism Office, and what we applied for is for a marketing campaign based on actually what Kelly had done when she created our logo. You would never guess marketing campaign, basically surrounding the idea that people would never guess what we have here. There's matching funds for this one. I would have to confirm, but I think it's about less than 10%. So I think we're about $8,000. So we are working with VistaWorks on this. What I'm really excited about for this project is we've been building all of these building blocks. If you guys remember, I've been talking about all these little projects that we've been doing, and I feel like they're now starting to come together. And if you remember 2 years ago, I think now, we had another grant for us photo co-op that we did, and we had CTO down, and they took a lot of video, B-roll, and photographs. And so now we are able to use all of that footage for this video. So it's coming, all of this stuff is kind of coming together. So that's how the video was created. I know I've had a couple questions from some people of, oh, well, can we include video from this, or can we include video from this, or photographs? It's based on what we have from that co-op. Now, if we found that we don't have enough photos or videos or B-roll that we want to look at getting in the future, that could be something else we can do down the line, because as Rick Wallner knows, we still have $60,000, I forget. So each
With
one
canyons and things and
yeah.
visible hunted together.
So each one of these destination stewardship programs we went through over the past few years, there was a $10,000 to $15,000 of money that was attached, but technically it's not money because it was COVID fund, but I know it's very involved. But basically CTO was able to hire another photographer, and they're contracting with the photographer, and then any organizations that went through the destination stewardship, Restart Imagination, Restart, all of those programs we went to. So each program we went through, we got $10,000 to $15,000 for photo assets that will be forthcoming that we have not yet. And I think we signed up, we combined with Canyons and Plains, and we signed up for fall of 2024 and also spring of 2024. And so we're looking at doing some Santa Fe Trail photos through Canyons and Plains, looking obviously at getting some more tarantula photos. We got a lot for Penns Fort Worth, so we're going to be looking at nailing that down. But I'm telling you all this to let you know that we will be going through this again to be getting more photo and video assets that we can then use in the future. But what's in the video right now is going to be based on what we got from our last co-op for photos. Does that kind of make sense? So another grant we're getting, but technically not monetary that we're getting. It's just going to be photos that they're going to come down. Unfortunately, we asked the question, and all the communities asked the question if we could hire our own local photographers, but because of the way that the money has to be spent, the answer is no. There's one photographer for the entire state that they are going through the procurement process that they're going to, yeah. So, so that project is like a side project to keep in mind if we want additional photos. So the whole point of this video is it's going to be on a landing page, which I also included the link. And the idea behind this is we're going to have ads through social media. VistaWorks is helping us with all of this, maybe through Google, wherever it's gonna be, and the call to action will be to click on the link to go to the landing page, and then from there, and the landing page will live on Visit La Junta, but it'll have a unique URL, so we can track to see how successful the campaign is. That's kind of the idea behind the landing page. So instead of just driving them to Visit La Junta, they're going to drive them to this page where the video lives, and then it has some information, text from the video script that will be on there, and then the page, if you looked at that landing page I sent, looks very much like the Visit La Junta page. So if you click to go to stay or eat or play, you're staying in our page. But again, that URL is just a way to track it. So then the other thing is and if you remember, I said that Tracy was helping review the content that we had. We're going to probably have there was probably 2 pages, maybe 50 to 75 different ads that they're going to run at different times, and they had come up with all the text on that. So I had Tracy review that, and then they're going to attach photos as well from our photo co-op that they will then run, that will then point to the video on the landing page that people will click to. And we're able to kind of change what the time of year, so maybe sometimes it's going to be about the dinosaur tracks, maybe sometimes it'll be about the tarantula track, maybe it'll be about the Bettsfield Fort, maybe it'll be about the, as it said in the video, the come here without distractions. But this whole idea of you'd never guess what we have down here to see, where that campaign is. So that's the basis of all that. We're working through kind of getting that all done. VistaWorks had a very aggressive timeline, and I appreciated that. But since this is our first time doing this, we had to listen to voiceovers, so that's why I pulled Tracy. And there was like 30 people to listen to, and when you're listening to voiceovers, not a lot of them sound different, but they're different enough. My final inclination was if they couldn't say La Junta the first time, they were automatically out. There were a lot of people that said it wrong. And they could have re-recorded it, but I just felt like if you couldn't say La Junta the first time around, that... so I think we got to really... That's the voice you heard. That was the voice we picked. I thought a lot of the way she said some of the words... and highlighted some of the words. I probably listened to her 30 times. So if you go back and listen, you could hear some of the ways she says words like wonder and different things that I feel like are really stood out to me when we listened to the first one. And this is, Tracy and I both agreed on this. We were deciding between 2, but I like the way this one said La Junta better than the other one, which in the end is the most important thing we're trying to promote. So are there any questions on that? I know it's a lot, but that just kind of gives you an idea of where we're at.
Do we have a time period on that, spending that money for that grant?
Yes, we have 2 years to spend it. And it's all, that was part of the challenge, was getting the budget. And so I'm working with Lisa and VistaWorks. And so right now the part of the budget we're spending is all design, content creation, and the video. And then once we're through that, the other thing that they're going to help on the back end is the SEO, the search engine optimization, and making sure we have all the Google Analytics and all of the things we need, that when they hit that landing page, that it's going to be tracked, and all of the things that I don't want to have to become an expert in, to be honest with you, that they're doing a great job with. So, Colleen?
Yeah, I had some comments after I watched it. I watched it like 3 times. And I always get a little concerned when we highlight something that's not just right in our backyard, like John Martin Reservoir. I mean, it's an awesome place, and it's not that far to get to, but I don't think it's part of La Junta. I mean, it's down the road. And so I would much rather see a nice spread on the Kiva, which I thought they really missed the boat there by not highlighting that in that initial video. And I mean, and even the picture of the Kiva, there's some awesome pictures of the dancers and things. I think that would really draw. I mean, I would be interested in seeing that.
But do we have those pictures?
Right. We don't.
We don't, but is there any way, if the Kiva had a professional picture, I mean, there's some beautiful pictures, and I even think Lex Nichols has
Oh,
some
Lex has a bunch of
beautiful
pictures.
pictures, if we could even
I
say,
was the
look
same
at,
way as you, I thought.
Okay.
you know, John
I
Martin's
definitely
good.
thought the Kiva needed to be
I-
in there,
yeah.
but I didn't, I know the controversy that comes with the dancers, but
Yeah.
the art
yes.
is definitely something you would not expect in a little place like La Junta. So just getting, shots of the Taos room and the Taos gallery, and even the Kiva itself and the art in the Kiva.
Right,
I mean, we
right.
don't have to show the dancers
Well,
if
and
we
we do
want to
have
avoid
some,
that.
I mean, Lex Nichols has that photo from years and years ago that I think we've used, so that could be something. And I will say, to your point, when they first came out with the draft of the, I don't know what, wasn't called an agenda, but like everything that it was gonna be in there, they had picket wire, or not picket wire, chorizo, all of that.
Yeah.
So I pulled all of that in, and we kind of went back and forth with John Martin. And
Maybe in the verbiage then it says, and, less than 30 miles away is,
Okay.
or something. I mean,
Yeah.
I just don't, I think as somebody that used to work with a lot of visitors, you don't want to give them the false impression
Yeah.
that that's just a couple of miles out of town.
Yeah, and
Because they're gonna go, what? You know.
I agree. That was
Yeah.
one of the things that I had said too.
And then I clicked on all of the, I think it just came to our site, but there were some things that needed to be changed. The eat, there were 2 or 3 spots that have changed there.
Right.
I didn't know one of the motels, is that Travel Lodge still, is it still going strong?
I think
One
it
on
is.
First
Right
Street, I
next
thought
to
it-
Perkins.
I thought it had closed,
Right on
but I
50.
didn't know.
Is the Travel Lodge the one next to Perkins, is it still open?
We don't know if they're trying to convert it into apartments or what.
Okay, so I think that needs to come off,
Okay.
Yeah.
but,
Yeah, there's a few typos, like Felisa's has an extra I in it. Little Caesars was spelled wrong. Things
Well,
like that.
that's nothing to do with this project. That's from the past project,
Oh,
just so we
okay.
know, because that goes to our current website.
right.
So,
But like the Tamal House, they've changed.
Okay.
Tamal
different.
House, I got that one too. There was no Yak and Yeti on there, of
And that
course.
they just said
that changes.
Pitmasters.
But LS Teca was still on there.
Yeah, LS Tech was still on there. Yeah, we were doing the same thing, Rick. I'm like,
and
nope,
that,
nope,
I will
nope.
say, that goes back to my conversation that I brought up last year, that we are at a point where in 2024 we need a website refresh, because I am able to do that, but it is not easy anymore to do it with all of the plugins and add-ins, and the Midtown Motel wanted me to add some photos, and it's not user friendly like it was a Tarantula Trek. So while I appreciate all the comments and I can go through and update on the typos, I don't think I'm going to spend a lot of time on the website, because that's another thing I have on the agenda. I feel like it's time for us to invest in a completely new website.
Sounds good.
So,
Sticking with the video, I liked Ron had sent that email about farm markets. Again, even if we don't have video, if you just have some photos, I mean, they can, do a zoom in, zoom out, zoom across kind of thing, pan to make it sort of video looking, even if it's a picture. I think farm markets are a big part of the attraction
One
here.
of the other things was the bird watchers.
Yeah,
You know how
birding.
many bird watchers we had come.
We got a lot of bikers too out there, guys. I run into them all the time at the grasslands.
Mountain
It kind of
bikers.
shocks me.
Yeah. And another one I thought, which is brand new, and I say this because it's something we looked for when I was traveling with little kids, is we had a great new playground. And we always looked for
Right,
kind of
right.
unique playgrounds to take our kids to when we were traveling.
Don't
So-
those bridges stand out?
Yes, they do. So I think just a shot of the brick and tile playground would be
With-
enticing to some people too.
with that said, it's 50 seconds long,
Right.
so we can't include everything.
And we got it at the same.
But we're gonna reduce John Martin, so.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, and I think this is where we have to put our tourism hats on and not our citizens of La Junta hats on. I know they can be the same and sometimes different, but we have to really look at people are gonna see that makes them want to travel here. So some of those things, while they're great, are they, what would make people travel here just for that? So I completely agree with John Martin and including, seeing if we can include Kiva based on if we have the high enough, it's very much about the high resolution photos and all of that make this work. So those are a couple things I think we can request, but and then I also want to
thought
say
it was well done. I mean,
I liked it.
I'm not
I liked it too.
I
I
agree.
thought it was very nice.
Yeah. The other thing that Rick did ask me, which I think we do need to do, is he felt like some of the photos were too fast, so you couldn't see. So
Well,
maybe we're a
yeah.
little bit
The one
longer
that had
on those photos.
The 2, 3, photos that, I was trying to look, and I know them, but then I thought, oh shoot, I have to go back and look at them.
But if he doesn't, if we don't know them right away,
Yeah,
and we know what they are, maybe they.
need to see it just
yeah.
a hair longer.
So, and that's where it's been hard because I wanted to include everything and all the things too.
Yeah, you have to cut it down.
Yeah, but we have to make sure that we highlight the highlights, I guess.
Sure.
So,
And I don't know, this doesn't need to be in the video, but I just noticed under the play, again, this goes back to the website. So if we were gonna have John Martin, we don't have John Martin link in the play
Okay.
part.
Yeah.
And then the only other thing, looking through the whole site, eat, play, stay, the video, everything, is there was never once anywhere a mention of Otero College, which again, I think is a big part of Junta's community, I guess, I don't know. And I didn't see Otero anywhere in any of that, in anything, so.
And I don't know if this is a good time to bring this up, but something I noticed when I was going through the website deal portion, because I know it is a big draw, is location of all the ball fields.
It is under the play.
It is.
You look under the play, all the different ball fields are
Were
under
they?
the
And I
play.
think
Because
the
I did not
addresses were
see
on
that.
I'm sorry.
I think, aren't the addresses listed
Yes,
under that play
they
as
are.
well?
Is there?
Yeah.
If you
I did
click
not.
on it and it goes on the one that she sent and it's under play.
Yeah,
The ball fields
they are, because I just actually got a question. I think some of the content was,
Down there where it's
Yeah, they were
there.
above.
Okay. And I guess I didn't go down for it.
Yeah. See all that stuff we have? You missed it.
I know.
yeah, so again, that what we have on the website is nothing new. But I will say, somebody just told me the other day, and I think a lot of the content we had just pulled over from the last website, so we will learn that. But I guess on Tippy Martinez, it said something about a roller hockey rink. And so the guy asked me, where is the roller hockey rink at Tippy? So people are reading the website, and they're
Used to be there.
like diving in
Used to be there.
to the,
Yeah.
yeah.
1 year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So,
So, and I don't know, maybe I'm getting ahead here again too. So your website refresh. I think it'd be a good thing to have a map on here to coordinate, just so you can
Where
pull it
are
up.
we?
Okay, we're here, this is over here, this is over here, you know what I'm saying? And if you could have some kind of a map saying, okay, the dinosaur tracks are down here, where you can scroll in, scroll out, and kind of get a basis of
Right.
where you're at.
Makes sense.
okay, yeah.
I noticed under Explore, you had the Santa Fe Trail too, which I think is good, another one. And
Yeah.
now we have a new Santa Fe Trail Byway website you could look to.
Yes. So, and like I think I told you guys for the Tarantula Fest page, when they did that update, I realized how, archaic probably is not the right word, but at the time, that website was what we needed and I think had come along with everything, but to be able to do the updates on the Tarantula Fest, and I think we had the meeting, we decided the date was gonna be for 2024, and I was able to go on and do it literally within minutes. So I think that being able to do all of that with the website would be really helpful, to be able to do that in minutes and not, it's just very time consuming to get through.
how much does it, do you have any idea, ballpark figure, what it would cost to revamp that tourism website?
Well, that was gonna be my next next topic of, I'm sorry, what?
30 to 40,000 would probably
Yeah.
cost.
And I don't know. But, the last time we went through the process, I guess that was what I was going to ask here, we have been working with VistaWorks, and they've been doing a phenomenal job for us and with us. They created our brand. They're doing this project with us. So I would like to go to them and get a bid for what their costs would be. They have a fabulous new person they're working with that actually did the Tarantula Fest, and I've kind of requested that maybe she could work with us on that. But I can get a proposal. I think they had included that when we, and I'm sure it changed, but I wanted to say we were around 20,000, 15 or 20, when, if you guys remember, we decided to just spend the $5,000 to do the brand update instead of a whole total rehaul to the website, which at that time I don't think with everything else we had going on would have been the best thing. So I have had conversations with VistaWorks. They're interested in it. If we want to look elsewhere, we can do that, but at the same time I do feel like that it will.
I like the consistency.
Yeah, it ties in well.
Yeah.
Well, and they're used to everything what we've got.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a good.
And the other thing with VistaWorks that we can also have the conversation that at the time when we did this website, I don't know that we were in what the financial situation that we are now, but we can probably have a yearly contract with them where they can do a lot of these updates and we can email them. And if they're bigger updates than a text change, but if we need to add a new restaurant or do stuff like that, then we could probably do that. Where we have them on a contract that's an hourly rate that they would do to help us out and keep it more.
To keep it updated.
I'd be very supportive. I was going to suggest that.
Yeah.
Just because, restaurants come and go and
They
stuff,
do.
and it's it takes so long for you to go in and change things, and the technology keeps changing. Having somebody out there who does that for us would be great.
The other thing that I think Tracy brought this up a few years ago, and it just, after doing the Tarantula Trek page and the Tarantula Fest page, it's a lot harder to create a page. I do think another page that would be helpful to include on there is Colorado Tourism Office has a page and they call it Industry Partners. So it's kind of like a back-end page for us where we could say who we're about, what we're doing. We could also have a link. Or I'm thinking an easy enough thing would be to just create a Google form for the tourism application, so we can have that on our page. So we don't need another website, but at the same time, Visit La Junta is very tourist facing, but being able to at least have a page that's at that back end that people could ask the questions of who's on the tourism board and what the tourism. We noticed with 2A we got a lot of those questions, and there's not really a place for our stuff to live. I mean, it lives within the city website, but you certainly have to dig. But we can have that stuff on our industry page or whatever industry partners page available for people to find. So that would be another thing I would request that they add. Canyons and Plains just went through an update, and then the Santa Fe Trail went to the update, and they did add a great map that I think the map really, really helps with pinpointing where we are and all of the different things. And we do have a great map on the Tarantula Trek page where we have those sites to consider. So I think a map would be a great addition. And we can have a conversation as we get into this process. Do we like the stay, eat, play model, or do we, when we talk about a refresh, or do we want to just do a whole new web redesign? And I guess we can have VistaWorks present that idea to us on whatever they think is best.
I think I like what we have, but I would say I'm open to hear if they've got other ideas, I guess.
Okay.
I'm sure it'll be more user-friendly than what we even have. That's the thing, things of
Yeah.
technology, wait 6 months and it changes constantly, so.
Yeah.
That site's
I've
been
been
up
seeing
for
a lot of
4 or
that.
5 years, so it's really old.
Well, I think it was 2015 when we,
So it's only 8 years.
I need to check, but I feel like it was, I think it's when we started it. Yeah. Yeah. But I'll look back just to make sure. I mean, it was definitely pre-COVID,
Pre-pandemic.
20 so maybe 17, but yeah. it's definitely been good for us, but it's time, we just need an update. Okay. Any other questions on that? The only other thing I wanted to update on, I signed the contract, or the MOU, I guess it's called, with Amy Cassidy. As a reminder, she is our destination development mentor. Just a reminder that no money attached, but 100 hours of consulting, and what we decided to apply on for that was the idea around tarantula tourism and the Care for Colorado principles, leave no trace principles. Right now the leave no trace principles are out there and they're great, but there's nothing specific to us. So the idea behind this project is based largely on our tourism meeting, or our Tarantula Fest meeting we had, where we invited the cops in the county and all of their feedback. So we will convene a working group with all of those partners, maybe even get some private landowners in that conversation of issues, challenges, what we need to work for, what we're not seeing since we're not out there today. And then this project, this 100 hours of consulting, will be around framing new principles that we can promote, creating maybe some collateral, and then helping us get that on the website to kind of implement and communicate. So we have our own shared language around protection and sustainability of the land and the tarantulas. Which I know it came up, I even talked when I was on the phone with our initial call, we talked about should we try to make it for all of La Junta and all we're doing through tourism, but it felt right now with 100 hours and what we're trying to do, it felt like that the priority right now needs to be around tarantula tourism and trying to be more proactive about having people stop in the street and take dogs and do the things that we're doing. And Amy and the other, Hillary is also a CTO, have some expertise in that area with the leave no trace and the creating content around that. So I think they'll be very helpful in leading us in that effort. So that is going to look to probably start here in January. And the deliverables have to be done by May 31st of 2024, so the timing is quite perfect with Tarantula Tourism and Tarantula Fest. And then, since we're doing this project, the Tourism Recovery Grant with VistaWorks, if we're able to add on this new website, all of that will kind of be working together, and I don't know what kind of timeline we'll be on. If it's something that we can prioritize and get different pages up faster, or how that process works with VistaWorks based on that timeline, but I'll continue to report back on that. The only other thing I wanted to mention, I haven't got a chance to talk out, but I feel like, these are kind of the 4 things maybe for the first quarter of 2024 that I'll really be focusing on, is this Tourism Recovery Grant, the Destination Development Mentor, the website refresh, and then I still want to try to find a company to help us with the short-term rental compliance. So I'll be reaching out to CTO. I might even tap into Amy Cassidy a little bit to see. Dave Santucci is somebody also that has some experience here. So see if we can get that started. So I think those will be the priorities for me personally and what I'm working on for the first quarter of 2024.
I got one other question. As far as the $75,000 federal grant, do we know where we stand money-wise, and what are we going with what we have left over? I mean, this, excuse me, this video and stuff that you put out, I mean, do we know what that's costing us? And
Yeah,
how
it's gonna cost the full 75.
It is the full
When this grant was very specific, when we applied, we had to add,
So that was the full.
we had to, and actually, we applied for over $100,000, not complaining at all, but we had included some other stuff, and we got the $75,000. So this was very specific to this marketing campaign that is, again, federal money through, I think it might be the economic development arm of the federal government, maybe, or something where it came from. but it had to be approved almost every dime we're spending, yeah. And this one is a reimbursable grant, which is the first time we've done that, where we have to spend it out and then they'll reimburse us.
As I was watching that video, my thought went to cutting that down somehow to like 30 seconds and getting some spots, up in Denver on TV stations or something like that. I mean, just as a possibility.
Yeah.
But, well, I know we can't do that with that money, obviously.
Yeah,
But
as
the
a
tourism,
possibility.
we, as a tourism board, have money that we
Could
can
do that.
recommend
Sure,
city council approve to pay for something like that.
yeah. We can have the conversation with,
Union Station or something, because I'll never forget that time I was going through Chicago Union Station and I saw the Lahana stuff up
Yes.
and I was proud as heck.
yes.
Yeah, and I saw people looking at it because it was, everybody's getting off the train.
And we can certainly, I mean, to your point, Rick, and I guess to further go on what you were asking, John, we can ask, I mean, VistaWorks does this stuff, so we can expand on it. We would just have to then pay for it. The grant won't cover it. So if there's other stuff we want to do, like commercials or, I don't even want to joke about billboards, but whatever that looks like, we can then do that out of our own marketing budget, and it can just be added to kind of the work, and they would just bill it differently, and we would pay for it and wouldn't get reimbursed for it because, like I said, it's a reimbursable grant. But it could also be something that we could include as additional matching or in kind when we're doing the reporting as well. I know that was a lot today.
We played hooky last month, so.
Yeah, well, kind of. I mean, we combined November and December into one, so,
I guess it was the month before.
yeah. So if you guys don't mind taking, if there's additional comments you have on the video, I felt like I wanted to for sure get you guys this first draft. I didn't, Tracy and I looked at it and I definitely had very similar comments. I felt like it was very fast and it was a little, it goes through it too much, too
Some of the
quickly.
pictures I thought maybe could change a little bit.
Yeah, I questioned some of the pictures too. So
There
I
was
think
some
for a version
kind of all
one,
the same
Well, like-
colors.
yeah,
Me looking on my phone, that's what I looked at, the one where it brings up the 3 photos,
It's
by the time you're looking at both 3 photos, it's gone.
Yeah.
And trying to
Well,
figure out
that
what
was-
each
that's
one
why
was.
Yeah.
That was the one that, and I went back and I was
Yeah,
like,
that-
okay, I know those 3 photos and I still couldn't catch it.
okay.
Take it down to 2.
So, like I said, this is a first draft, so I will give them this feedback, and then on the second draft, I'll share out again, and then we'll just
No,
keep going.
I thought she sounded great, and
Yeah.
like I said, I watched it 3 or 4 times and picked up a little something.
Yeah,
But most people are gonna watch it once. Just have to think about that.
the first time they're seeing it, yeah.
During the Super Bowl.
Right,
There you
yeah.
go. And that's what we need. Little tarantula.
I'm just kidding, Betty, I'm just
Get the tarantula, walk
We don't have
across
enough
the
money in our
field.
budget to buy a 30-second spot.
It says, come to Lahana.
Yeah.
Yeah, there he goes. The tarantula walking across the football field. Hand in hand, right at his level, so he looks
Yeah.
straight.
Yeah. Anything
I
else?
have an update.
Okay.
This will probably be the last update I give from the Canyons and Plains hat, but the Santa Fe Trail Byway is the featured byway this month on the National Scenic Byway Foundation's webpage. So they contacted us just before the holidays to get information and stuff to put up there, and we have our brand new Santa Fe Trail Byway website now, so they've linked to that. So the National Scenic Byway webpage features the Santa Fe Trail Byway this month.
Nice. Okay, my update is, did you guys see the bridges?
Yes.
Changes the whole look down there. So they'll finish off on 5th Street, they should have been working it today, and then they'll start, when it warms up, start pouring the concrete on the bridges and tie in the 2 sidewalks. on each bridge. But that was pretty good yesterday, wasn't it, Betty, except it was so cold,
It was pretty cold.
pretty cold.
I
Couldn't stop shaking.
worked my camera barehanded and my fingers were red.
Yeah, I kept having to change hands. Ah. But, hey,
6 degrees.
by the end of February, it'll be done. They're getting ready to do wing walls on where the bridge is set and stuff, and that'll go pretty fast.
A lot of things are gonna be done at the end of February.
One thing will be done at the end of February, which, you know, I'm sure, I know, you guys all know, that on February 29th is my last day with City of Junta. So I've had a great career here.
Thank you for all your service.
We'll miss you, Rick.
Yeah.
I'll miss it, yeah, but I know it's time.
I got a great thing for you to do.
Yeah, I know you do. You know, I've been hearing back, you know, my phone's been ringing, but I keep telling them, no. I've already made a promise to my wife. I'll keep it.
Did you say something about February the 29th?
Yes, that's my retirement day.
Oh, no.
You didn't know, Betty?
I didn't know.
He's leaping right off out of here, isn't he? Leap here.
Okay, so our
Phase
next,
2 coming up.
our next meeting, if what works for everyone, is scheduled for February 20th.
9th?
Anyway.
Yeah, that's the weird.
February, what, 20th?
20th.
Okay.
Do we have another city manager or are we just?
No. If your phone's been ringing with stuff, my phone's been ringing with that question too. That's a no.
Everybody keeps asking me, you know, well, who's replacing you? And I go, ask city council, because
And that's a
the
good
one job I
question
can't
for-
replace in the city of Junta was my own.
Yeah, that's a good question for tonight at city council, Betty.
That's right.
We have no.
We're discussing a lot of things and it's not even close yet, so.
Okay.
Who said February 20th, Pam?
20th, yep,
Yep, got her.
that's all I have.
Anybody got anything else? Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna go turn us off before.
Yeah. Everyone's welcome to it. It doesn't mean anything.
Is it just me? I don't know, this may sound bad, but is